keep on telling me about that. So you're telling me about the mod tub, which actually we'll bring everybody in. I'm really stoked to have Austin Hatfield here. Man, we got a lot of bases to cover.
Yeah.
But so yeah, sorry. Finish your story. Tell me about because I watched Ben, be a professional. I watched the Day in the Life with Hiller, loved it, and I think you were kind of shouting out cold plunge tubs, or, shouting out everybody there, saying,
"Yeah,
hey,
I was struggling with getting a cold plunge.
Yep.
So I was using a DIY, like a chest freezer, and dude, it would only last like 3 or 4 days before it got nasty.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I definitely need something that's like.
Oh, because it didn't drain.
It didn't drain. It didn't have any.
It's the worst.
It was just stagnant water.
Yeah.
So like it got dirty instantly. Like if I would try to do it before like working out, so I'd be clean.
Yes.
But sauna, cold plunge, impossible.
It's funny. I've got one of the plunge tubs, and that's the hate you always get. People are like, "Oh, it's so overpriced," but I'm like, it's worth its weight in gold just to have the water circulating and have that,
being able to clean
100%.
itself. Because like with that one, dude, I was like 3 days, it would be like yellow.
Right.
So now I think with the mod tub one, I haven't cleaned it in like 2 months. It just, and the filter is still good and everything. It's pretty good.
But so it's an actual Grizzly cooler.
Yeah, it's just like the Grizzly 1200 coolers.
So wouldn't work for a guy my size.
Probably would.
Maybe kind of sorta. Okay.
Probably would.
Okay.
It fits perfectly for me.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest guy.
Yeah. But that's an advantage in some ways.
Yeah, it's true.
Example.
Unless you go on the rower.
Dude, I think that where I want to start is the Mr. Nobody title that was given to you.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm gonna make an assumption, feel like it's safe that has changed dramatically. Tell me how life has changed since your first games appearance and really being kind of thrust in the spotlight.
I would say like from the Mr. Nobody, I think Hiller kind of just gave me that name because like coming onto the scene, I think the first time I ever like really had any kind of recognition was semifinals.
Yeah.
So like it was semifinals 2023. I come out, I think it's workout number 1 actually, where they're doing like the big heats of 20 people. And I come out and halfway through the workout, I'm like winning my heat. And they're like, lane number 13's winning. And like normally they say your name.
Yep.
Right? This guy had no idea who I was.
Yep.
And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then like he keeps going. He's like, lane number 13 still in the lead. And then he finally figures out my name. And I'm like, I kind of like it.
People like scratching it down, like trying to get him a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was your first semi.
Yeah.
Was that the first? Did you not win an event until 24, or did you win an event?
Yeah, 24 was my first event win.
Like the toes to bar.
Toes to bar, front squat.
Okay.
Double under workout.
Okay, and so that was the interview where you didn't shut her down, but I thought it was a classy answer where you were like, I like to keep my personal life personal.
Yeah, it was kind of just like, what do you want the people back home to know about you? I was like, not much, just kind of like to keep my personal life.
Yeah. So, but now, is that becoming less optional? I mean, like people got cameras at your house, you could doing shows like this.
I mean, yes and no. Like personal life is still there, but I mean, yeah, you come to Mayhem, you got people wanting to come video you at your own gym and whatnot. But I mean, it's not the worst thing.
No, it's great. I mean, yeah, no knock on you. I just wonder if you're, are you able to embrace it, or is it something that you kind of want to keep at arm's length?
No, I feel like I have a 50-50. I'm able to keep my low life, and when I'm on camera, you're on camera.
Yeah, and then eventually, obviously, with success comes that attention, and so it seems from the outsider looking in, it seems like you deal with it really well.
Yeah.
And then hopefully again, it leads. It's all self-sustaining. It's not as if you can stop working hard, but then the things that keep you guys alive, keep you afloat. Now that you are a full-time athlete, sponsorships, things like that, you kind of got to play that game.
Yeah, for sure. It's part of it. You get a little success, you get a little, people start to know who you are. Can't be Mr. Nobody anymore.
100%. And I've seen a couple of videos. You're kind of playful with it, but like you're trying to like show the brand label and things like that. Are people reaching out to you yet?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Get a couple of sponsors here and there. Nothing super big yet.
Once you win the games.
Yeah, when you win the games, you might get some sponsors.
Yeah, no, I have a feeling it's coming before that. And the the other big topic of conversation, everybody gets hung up on this, obviously, is your profession, which is rabbit farming.
The rabbit farmer.
Kind of culture, rabbitry.
Yeah.
It seems it's funny because we live in Cookville, right? So if somebody around here tells you that they farm just about anything, you're like, yeah, fine, you know. Is it a really niche farming profession where you're from?
No, not really. I'm probably one of the only ones, but I mean, there is a demand out there.
Yeah.
So when people need rabbits, I'm your guy.
I love it. And I promise I won't spend an hour talking about it, but like when I saw that, I had a lot of questions. But in particular, like, saw your grandfather, looks like a great dude.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a family business or did you come to this by yourself?
So he started it like 5 years ago.
Okay.
And it was kind of just, I think, his way of like, he's getting old. He's always going to work, like, till the day dies.
Yep.
So he was wanting to do something, and he saw an opportunity to start selling rabbits. So he started doing it, and then he saw that I was, needing something to do, needed a little bit more income, and he kind of handed it off to me. So
is it, I mean, from what I would guess, like, it takes a lot of attention and time.
It's just time consuming. It's not necessarily hard or anything.
Right. But will you continue to do it, like, as you continue to go down your competition path? Yeah.
It doesn't take that much time out of my day. Like, it's not like a full-time job or anything.
But it's a one-man show. Like, you're the dude?
Yeah, I'm the only one doing it.
Man. And I, like, just tell me the level of difficulty. Because I was laughing in my head. I'm thinking, well, the stereotype is that rabbits are just always screwing anyways, right? So, like, how hard could it be?
Breeding like rabbits.
Breeding like rabbits. But is it, I don't know. Like, how much time and effort does it take on a consistent basis?
It's about hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning, a little bit in the evening. I mean, mostly it's just like food and water, tending. Yeah. But like, I'll pick like some days, like rest days. I'll clean all the cages out, clean all the poop, and all the boring stuff.
The best job ever, though. Like, it sounds like. I mean, that keeps you going on the side.
Best part's the baby rabbits. You get to play with the baby rabbits.
Yes, dude. They look cute. Absolutely.
That's the part I need to post more on Instagram.
How much are they kicking out, like, on a consistent basis?
Let's say average is about 8 per litter.
Okay.
I've had some that,
like, a single rabbit will have 8.
Yeah. But like, they can breed like every month. So like, yeah, they'll be pregnant for a month, and then like as soon as they have babies, they're
back at it.
They're ready to go again. That's why it's breeding like rabbits.
So, dude, we gotta also figure out how to make this your thing. Like, Rich has got the buffalo, and so it's the Into the Storm. So,
the rabbits.
What's the catchphrase for the rabbits?
We have to think about it.
Maybe we'll find something from. Are you too young to have read Watership Down?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe check it out.
There's been a lot of people who say Hatfield's Humpers.
Dude, I love it.
So
I love it.
That's out there.
I love that, actually. All right, well, we'll see if that catches on. All right, so here we are at Mayhem, and you've been here before.
Yeah.
But feels like a different year to me. And this is kind of, I guess, piggybacking on, like, how have things changed. Mm-hmm. What's your attitude during training now? And let's forget that there's still some uncertainties about where the CrossFit Games are.
Yeah, what the season's going to look like.
What the season's going to look like. But having narrowly missed, then made it to the CrossFit Games and had a tremendously successful year in my mind, like, you seem like a confident dude already, but what's your mindset in training?
I would say it's the same. So my mindset's always been, like, not necessarily train like you're scared, but like you're not guaranteed anything. Mm-hmm. So like everybody else is out there trying to take your spot. So same thing. I've always had, like, 2023, my goal was to make semifinals. I made semifinals and missed the games. So I was like, next year my goal is I'm going to make semifinals. So now it's make the games. So I made the games, and now make the games again and, maybe do better in 10th place. That's my goal.
Dude, I don't want to put this pressure on you, but it seems like success comes quickly. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you did CrossFit for a long time before you were even like, hey, maybe I'll compete.
Yeah.
And then you competed, and 2 years later, you're at the games.
Yeah. And
top 10. Do you feel like progress is continuing to come?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, that, also comes with just the work that you put in.
Sure.
You reap what you sow. I feel like that's like the mindset I go into it. Like, you go in, and I like to win. I'm competitive. So, and I saw something that we were talking about with, I was talking to Dom about, It was like I sent him a thing on Instagram. It was like train to dominate. Don't just train to compete. Like
100%.
If I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna go out there.
I love that. And it's kind of funny for me, like CrossFit Games, it never was like touchy-feely, but no, I guess it was. It was kind of like kumbaya, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there weren't people kind of coming out and saying, yeah, man, like I'm here to just smoke the field and beat everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's funny, you know, you got champions like Rich, and they'd be like, nah, man, like that's the name of the game. We're not here just to have fun.
Well, I think it's what you tell yourself, you know. Like if you tell yourself, you know, I'm not going to lift that, well, you're probably not going to.
Yeah.
Like, so if you tell yourself, well, I'm probably not going to make the CrossFit Games, well, then you're probably not going to make the CrossFit Games.
Right. Yeah. And knowing, having been exposed to a lot of athletes, a lot of them will say it, but they don't mean it. I don't believe them. Yeah. I don't believe them. And so I think it's also important to kind of have that belief. And it seems like it kind of comes naturally, but I'd love to know more about, like, I understand there was those years of CrossFit, but like, what about your sporting background? Like
So growing up, I played every sport. So I'm the youngest of 3 brothers.
Okay. So
I was always, you know, in the backyard with all the older guys. We would always do like pickup football or anything like that. No pads or anything. It was always rough. And you know, I'm 10 and they're 15, 16 years old, getting roughhoused and whatnot. That's probably where my competitive background comes from. Just me and my brothers.
And you could never make that up.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
like the oldest sibling can't fake that. It's like being the younger brother gets beat up.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely got beat up a lot, but you know, you learn from it. Played soccer throughout, I mean, for the longest time, since I was like 3 till high school.
Okay.
And
so the lungs maybe.
Football, like I played them all.
No basketball.
No basketball.
No, you ruled that one out early.
Yeah, I think that one was kind of ruled out from the beginning.
But so that makes sense. So soccer, maybe the lungs come from soccer, from all the running. But even so, back then, like, did they have strength programs that were?
So legit? I would do like off season stuff. So like in season was more like focus on like, you know, training and whatnot for like the sport. But like off season, we would go and do like I don't know if it was like personal training, but it was like group training. Like me, my brother, and a couple other guys from the team, we would go and do like personal training with a guy.
Okay. And were you like, you're freaky strong? Like, was that there early?
No, not really.
Okay. So that kind of came with CrossFit?
Kind of came later on. And I would say that kind of came with like the years of like self-programming. Like when I didn't follow any programming or early days of like owning my own gym. I would just go in and do what I wanted. So, like, I'd go in and squat. I'd go in and lift. I never went in and, you know, trained to weaknesses. Yeah. So it was kind of like, I think that was kind of building up that strength. Because I liked lifting. So that's all I did. For sure.
And then, luckily, the running just didn't disappear, huh?
Yeah, it came back.
But, man, you had to know pretty quick. Or, sorry, let's go here. Like, when did it turn from that? So, there's a small group off-season training, and then you said you play football.
Yeah.
But not till later?
Yeah, I mainly just kicked, so I was just a kicker.
Oh, okay.
But I had a couple plays where I got to actually play.
Got it. Okay, cool. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so cool. Then when was CrossFit introduced?
Later. It was right around junior year of high school, sophomore, junior year. I was just looking, you know, to get a little stronger and walked into CrossFit Iron Fury, which is now closed down, but it was the first CrossFit gym I ever went to. And I walked in and the owner, Eric, was just lifting, and, you know, he was just tongue wide open, snatching, and I was like, yeah, I like that.
I'll take some of that.
I like that.
Right on.
And it was just like, you know, shirts off
and
everything. I was like, I can dig this.
Yeah, dude. Just let the testosterone flow and get crazy.
Full of it.
So no parents, no nothing, like, pushing you in that direction? You just...
No, parents were supportive, but not like, they didn't really push anything.
They weren't CrossFitters, I mean.
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, nobody in my family other than me. I mean, they work out, but like not to the extent that like I'm the crazy one in the family.
Right. Yeah, I only ask because you're so young, and it's cool. We're in this generation now where, like, Paige Powers, for example, like, her parents are CrossFitting before she was, and they're like, yeah, you should give this a shot. And then, of course, she, you know, blows up. That's really cool, man. And then how long then was it before you wanted to open up your own spot? So
not necessarily like I wanted to open up. I was, you know, the CrossFit Iron Fury that I was going to, you know, they were having their own life and whatnot and moving on, and they were going to close down.
Okay.
So I was working at a car dealership. Hated it. But
Just slinging vehicles? Like, were you a
I was
salesman?
just
Yeah.
out there just, slinging vehicles
Nice.
around. It was terrible. Wouldn't recommend it unless you're just like sitting down all day.
Right.
But I had saved up a little bit of money. Me and my buddy were like, well, we don't really want to go anywhere else, So we were like, well, let's just see if we can open up our own spot. So we talked to them. They helped us out, and we just opened up our own gym and went from there. And, yeah.
And decided not to keep, this is just out of curiosity, decided not to make it a CrossFit affiliate. It was just a gym.
We had talked about it. So, yeah, it wasn't affiliated. We were like, well, let's not affiliate right now. And maybe later on down the road.
Yep.
But we just, we had the previous members and, people knew what we were doing. We were training CrossFit and whatnot, but
yeah, I get
we
it.
weren't affiliated.
I get it. It was a weird time in CrossFit too, honestly. So that was probably 2017 or 18?
I would say, 2019. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Strange times. And I guess
I think I was only 18.
You're 18?
So, yeah, people would walk in and I would, introduce myself and this and that. And they're like, so where's the owner? I'm like, I am.
You're talking to them.
Yeah, they were like, oh, you're so young. I was like, well, that's part of it.
Let me talk to your mom, kiddo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have trouble getting, respect seriously, though?
No, not necessarily. When you're out there lifting all that heavy weight, they realize.
Oh, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And it was, how successful was that?
From where we're from, so a small town in Beckley, West Virginia, it's not necessarily the best place to open a gym. And, fitness and health from where I'm at is not really a priority. So we stayed pretty small and whatnot all the way up until the end.
Okay.
So we closed down in 2023, I think.
Okay.
So not too long ago.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I mean, we're just the South in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cookeville's got a little bit of a cheat code, obviously, because Rich's career was at the same time where everything was taken off. But yeah, we're fighting an uphill battle in a lot of ways. So it's cool to be able to make an impact though on a small community. What? Give me more about Beckley. What are we talking, like 10,000 people, 15?
Maybe, yeah. Like it's small.
Small.
It's pretty small. It's just one of those. Coal mining is a big thing. It kind of went downhill there a little bit, but now I think it's picking back up. But really, if you come to West Virginia, it's either for coal mining or you're coming to whitewater raft.
Right.
There's really not a whole lot going on.
Right. Is that what your folks did? Anything?
No. So my dad owns his own business. Does lawn care. Anything you could think of.
Right.
My brother is a coal miner. He's been doing it since he was right out of college. So he's quite a bit older than me. So it's right around the time he graduated was when it was booming. So you could go out right out of high school and that's what a lot of people did, right to the coal mines.
What a trip, dude! I'm completely ignorant to that industry.
Mm-hmm.
I picture that happening.
A lot of people straight out of high school, they were like, no, we're not going to college. We're not doing it. It was and it's really big. If your dad did it, your grandpa did it. His great it was a family thing. It really was. And
I'm picturing, of course, the stereotypical old school movie where there's put on the cheapy headlamp and go in with a pick, but I'm sure it's come.
Yeah.
It's come a little way from there.
There's a little bit more technology to it nowadays. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know too much about it, but it was definitely, like I said, if it's a family thing for sure.
And it sounds like I would imagine that kind of a family thing would lead to work ethic and
no doubt. It's definitely not an easy job. They're definitely some of the hardest workers out there. If you look at the West Virginia Mountaineers, before every football game, they go through and they touch this big slab of coal. And it's just a little pay the respects to, all the coal miners and stuff.
100%. I love that. You're a West Virginia fan?
Big time.
All right.
Even though we didn't do too good this year or the past couple of years. But we're getting a new head coach, so hopefully. Yeah,
fingers crossed. It was a weird year all around, obviously. So Rich is a Notre Dame fan. I actually went to USC, so we have a little bit of beef over that.
Mm-hmm.
But it also leaves me out of the fray usually with SEC teams and all that. So as a young man, I'm always interested because I've been around for a long time. When you started paying attention to the CrossFit Games, What was the inspiration? Like, who caught your eye? Which athlete or athletes did you kind of want to be like? Or
I mean, it was kind of, right around 2017, 2018, like Rich had done everything he'd done, like, and then, Matt was moving in and whatnot, but nobody knew how good Matt was going to be at the time.
Right.
So it was, Rich.
Yeah.
So
did you were you watching the games and stuff, or were you, okay.
I was a big time fan before I ever thought about competing. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I think, I could get into this, but it was never like, oh yeah, I'm going to compete in CrossFit. It was just kind of like something I liked. I was just a fan first.
Yeah. And you weren't even really doing local comps, right?
No. So my first live competition was semifinals in 2023.
That's wild, dude.
My very first competition. You want to talk about nerves were high.
I bet.
Nerves. And that was kind of the thing too, like first live competition, I go out there and I win my heat. Like I was like, oh, maybe I am pretty good.
This is easy.
I was like, maybe it wasn't easy, but and that was the part that fired me up. It was like I come out there, I just introduced myself to Lockhart and Tyler Christopher, and they're like, "Who's this guy? He's on Mayhem." Like, because I was doing just the Mayhem compete programming.
You were just paying $50 a month or whatever, just doing your workouts. Wow.
Yeah. So I tried to get on a previous programming. I'm not going to say with who.
Yeah.
But essentially, they told me I wasn't good enough. Because, I mean, and that it's not on them,
Yeah.
I didn't have any history. I didn't have a name in CrossFit. So I was like, hey, I want to be put up with a coach. Like I was trying to, I was like, I want to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had been training and whatnot. And they were like, well, we don't really know who you are. You're Mr. Nobody.
Come back in a little while.
I mean, not even that. They were just like, well, you can pay the $500, personal training, one-on-one coaching. And I was like, and at the time I was like, I don't have that.
That's a lot of rabbits I got to sell.
Yeah, there's a lot of rabbits. So, and then I actually reached out to Chase Hill because I've known Dalton Rogers for the longest time.
Dude, I talked to Dalton this morning. Actually, he told me that.
And he was like, hey, talk to Chase, this and that. And Chase kind of mentored me into the, Mayhem programming. I was actually talking to him. I was like, hey, would you be interested in, doing some programming for me and this and that? He was like, not that he blew me off, but he was like, try the Mayhem programming. That's what I do. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. And then from there, here I am.
Was that a hard shift? Because you were doing all your own programming.
No, yeah, I wasn't necessarily doing all my own programming, but I would just come in and do a random workout, or I would see somebody on Instagram do a workout and be like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. And that kind of snowballed. And I would look for workouts and whatnot. So it was totally random, not structured at all. Probably was the worst thing for my fitness.
It worked pretty well.
It worked pretty well, but definitely the Mayhem programming helped me a lot.
Yeah, because you're probably beating yourself up too much.
I never did any zone 2. I never just got, on a rower and did some recovery stuff or anything like that. It was just always 21-15-9 or 5 rounds for time. And it was straight intensity just every single day.
Yeah, which can be shockingly effective. But yeah, if you don't have a long range vision, it's crazy. So hold on, take me back to the regional or semifinal. And was anybody there with you? So you introduced yourself to Lockhart and Tyler.
Yeah.
But otherwise, were you just on an island, figuring this thing out by yourself?
So I had a buddy with me.
Okay.
His name was Garrett, and he was my coach / friend. He was just my friend there.
Yeah.
And we kind of had a joke throughout the whole weekend. We kept making these little mistakes on where to be, what time to be there, and we just looked at each other and be like, first time.
It's all good.
It's our first time. But yeah, I just kind of showed up, and I was just kind of there.
Yeah. Nerves. Okay, so nerves going in, nerves before. Did they ever leave? After you won that event, for example, or was it?
Yeah, they kind of slowed down a little bit. But going into that first event, dude, I was bug eyed and whatnot, and it was kind of just I'm here.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
And starstruck at all? Were there people in your heat? I'm trying to think of who was in that heat with you.
I think Luke was in there.
Okay.
I remember Luke. Don't remember.
Nobody else jumped out.
No.
But still, you're in the warm-up area, and you're seeing athletes who you know of them and things. I'm sure.
It was kind of that intimidating thing. oh no, I'm going out with, these guys or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, I don't want him to beat me.
And fantastic that you win the heat. When did you kind of turn the corner, or did you? Like sometime in the weekend where you're like, hey, man, I belong here. Like this is how it's supposed to be.
I would say maybe on the last day.
Yeah.
Because on the last day, I was in a qualifying spot, and I was like, okay, maybe I can make the games.
If you look back, was there like one mistake you made or a few mistakes you made? Because you were one spot away, right?
Yeah, like one spot and like less than 10 points or something. Like it was really close.
Brutal.
I think one of the ones was the last workout. I was looking at my judge, and she had like her fingers up, and I thought she only had one finger up. So I only had one toes bar left, but she had two. And like from the side angle, it looked like I only had one more toes bar. And I came down to pick the last sandbag up and carry it, and she was like, no, come back. And in that workout, it was seconds. So like that one cost me. No, it was definitely a learning experience because like
yeah,
I would say if I made the games that year, I probably would have took it for granted.
Yeah.
Like going into it, and not that I didn't put the work in, not that I didn't prepare right or anything, but like, man, I hated that 13th place. I hated it.
I bet.
Like I went home and everybody was like, oh, you did so good, this and that. And I was like, no, I hated it.
Would have almost been better to get 20th. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I even told somebody that. I was like, it sucks to like, okay, if I would have got like 14th or 15th, probably wouldn't have helped me. Because, like I was like one place away. I was like, that's what hurt.
Yeah.
Like it was like, you were so close.
Crazy. And actually would never compare myself to you guys, but I'm all, we'll do like charity events or go to the BCS Classic. It's the little stuff, dude. Like you said, where to be and what time, or hey, get warmed up, then go sit in a corral, and maybe it's a little bit longer than you wanted it to be.
And that too, like the corral times, I was like, I thought, in the past, like, oh, hey, we're going to warm up, and then we're going to go right on to the competition floor. Like, no. Like, you warm up, and then you go sit for like 10, 15 minutes. You're going to get cold again.
Yep.
And I was like, and so that's something, I've implemented into training, like before competitions and whatnot. Like, warm up and this and that, but like be ready to not be ready
100%.
to go on the floor. And
then,
even like the nutritional side of it. Like I can remember the very first day of the 2023 semifinals, I ate one meal.
Chick-fil-A?
Maybe. But like I went into it like I didn't even eat breakfast. And I went into it, and then like on the final day, like I was just wrecked.
Because you're kind of treating it like training days or whatever, or you just, don't time manage?
Nerves. I didn't want to eat.
Yep.
I felt like I didn't have a good understanding of, you need to eat to train, to compete. Like you need carbs or fuel. I had no idea of any of this. So I completely went in blind.
Dude, I mean, that's also the value of one of the huge values of a coach is just like a logistics personnel, right? Because it was funny to see Rich, his first time doing Leadville, made a huge switch, and there's a whole obviously eating protocol for that as well. And Matt Chan was his support, and it was one of his main functions was to force him to eat. Mm-hmm. He'd run into him and be like, "You have to." It's like, I don't want to. You have to.
Yeah, it's one of those like you have to eat to for your body to keep going.
Yeah. So from there, you're already Mayhem athlete. From there, did you start doing more competitions to kind of get those reps?
Yeah. So I kind of just told myself, I was like, well, you need some more competition experience. And I even heard from other people, they were like, hey, go do Crash, go do Wadapalooza and this and that. And I think that's what helped me the most. I even went into Crash Crucible. I went and won, but like my intentions were, hey, just go get experience. Yeah. And ended up coming away winning. And then same thing with Wadapalooza. It was, not necessarily going in and like worrying about your placement, but just like going out there, getting on the floor, don't make any mistakes, learn the little things.
Yeah, or learn to wear it too. Like we're saying, you got, who cares if, whoever it is next to you, big name guy, I've watched him on TV, but you got to be able to run your race at the same time.
And that's a big thing too. Like you get caught up and, your left or to your right, and you just got to learn how to, like, your fitness is only going to be as good as, your fitness is that day.
No doubt.
Like, so you're not going to overcome somebody who's better in that workout unless, you put in the work. But
For sure. And
it's not going to happen right there.
Right. And when you're at home, you don't have like guys who are heavy hitters, right?
No.
So is that
pretty much all by myself?
Is that, gosh, so do you use trips like this to kind of try and gauge where you are, or practice not getting caught up in somebody else's pace?
I would say throughout the season, like, yeah, I'd like to make more trips to Mayhem, you know, kind of see, like, and it gives you an extra push. You know, you come up here, you get to train with Roman and some of the other big hitters. But, like, also, you know, just coming up here and working out with other people is also good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just back at home, it's just me. So, and I feel like it has some advantages. You know, like, for the most part, I stay healthy throughout the year. Like, you push yourself as hard as you can. Like, when you come to Mayhem, you push yourself a little bit harder, you know.
Yep. Man, I feel like you're still young enough to bounce back better. You know, I think you're in like a pretty sweet spot in terms of competitive CrossFit, age-wise, maturity-wise, for all that stuff to be matching up. So now you do have a coach.
Yeah.
I'm always interested because I think it's different from athlete to athlete. Like, what's the function, or what's the main benefit that you kind of perceive from that?
Maybe a little bit of a confidence thing, but like also too, just like working on my weaknesses. Like, for like the past 2 months, we've been doing nothing but like drilling my weaknesses. So like not a lot of lifting, just lifting here and there, and just, you know, being the communication part. Like, hey, did I suck on this workout? And he's like, no. And I'm like, he'd be like, hey, maybe next time we go a little bit harder here or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And hopefully at the games this year, well, actually at the games last year, did you have your first regional experience was sort of people were just saying, oh, we don't know who this kid is.
Yeah.
Second regional experience, did you get a little bit more support?
A little bit.
Okay. So hopefully this next one will be, people will be, you know, carrying your bags.
Maybe.
Let you know where to be. So I guess this may be a weird question, but the games are in this weird spot, right? Like you said, like we don't know what the season's going to look like exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's always been ups and downs and left turns and right turns. Does that affect you at all, or like or just general thoughts on the game season this year?
I mean, I wish they would kind of, you know, pick something and maybe stay with it, so it wouldn't be like, you know, so random. And we were just talking before you got here, and, you know, about the format and things, and we were talking about, you know, the fittest are still gonna make it. Like, there might be some outliers and whatnot, but like you're still gonna have like your top 10 guys or your top 15.
Always,
like, they're still gonna be there, like the big hitters.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like maybe pick something and stay with it,
exactly,
so that we can, you know, train for it and whatnot.
For sure. But you don't get any less fired up. You're like, you're still training as hard as you ever would.
Yeah. So like, not necessarily say like train scared, but like, you know, you're not guaranteed to make the games.
What part of, so what they have announced is open, online semifinal, a couple of in-person, and then games. How do you think that you'll go about it? Like, are you going to try and go to an in-person event, or does the online semifinal attract you?
I'd like to, you know, go ahead and guarantee myself on the online part.
Yeah.
That way, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, because I think that they're only going to take the top 1 or 2 from each competition. So, I mean, and that's in the field of, you know, other guys. That's not a lot of spots.
It's not a lot of spots. I just think there's going to be weird math to do. Like, obviously those dates aren't released yet, you know, but who knows? Like, maybe go hit one up.
I mean, yeah.
Collect a check and then also do the thing, or do you wait if one's happening after the online semifinal, just in case you need a backup plan?
Could possibly think about doing that.
Yeah.
Like, even if you do make it into say you make it in that top 20, and then, like, you know, you got a competition that you might want to go to, I might go do that.
Yeah. Is it a foregone conclusion for you that you're going to make it to the games, though? Feel really confident?
Confident, yeah, but I mean, you know, you got other people who are trying to come at you.
No doubt. What other athletes, like, didn't necessarily have to be Mayhem athletes, I'm just curious, like, have you kind of broed out with, or like, do you have people that you keep in touch with and you guys see each other or trade scores or whatever throughout the year?
No.
Really?
I mean, like, I talk to him, here and there, just like little jokes and whatnot. But like, no, not really any training or any workouts or anything like that. It's just kind of to myself in that aspect.
Love it. And then back home, you said that if you won the CrossFit Games, they wouldn't know any different.
No.
Do they though? Like, are they? Because around here, I think it's really cool, and I think it's.
I mean, around here, yeah, the CrossFit is probably a little bigger than it is back home, but like, no, like not a lot of people know or even understand like what it is that I'm doing in CrossFit, like that I'm competing or that I got top 10 or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's one of those like humbling things, like
I think it's great, man. I mean, like I think when I first moved here, they would always say it. Oh yeah, they just think of Rich as Janice's son, but it's true. It's people don't make too big of a deal of it here. It's a successful gym and people are into it and they're big fans. But yeah, I do think that probably keeps you grounded. You let it go to your head, you get in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
What are you really hoping to accomplish this year? Like, if all things go well, like we talked about, you've made progress theoretically, like leaderboard wise every year. Does that matter more, or is there something else?
I mean, the leaderboard obviously is always in the back of your head. But, just be the best athlete you can be. Keep continuing to grow. Either that's, mentally, physically, spiritually, anything like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got top 10. My goal has increased every single year. So, I would say it's going to increase this year too. Anything above, top 10, maybe even top 5.
Love it.
Would be, a goal of mine.
Love that, dude. You think we'll ever get you and the Rabbits to come down to Cookeville? I think home is home.
Might take a little special gift.
I love it. Cool. Yeah, man. I mean, it's fun. It's really fun having you guys here for us because we can get to see it in person, get to see you guys kind of throw down.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully we'll have a lot more of these before the games this year.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank you, brother. We love having you here.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Oh, did you ever show Rich like the racks that you've got at your grandpa's house? Your deer?
No. I sent him a picture of the deer that I killed this year.
Okay.
But like other than that, no.
It's gonna be a matter of time until he drags you out.
Yeah. Like, where's those deer at?
Are you on a bow or you shoot with a rifle?
Bow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always exclusively?
I actually killed one with a rifle this year, and like once I harvested the animal, and like right after it I was like, the same. Didn't really do it for me,
Yeah.
I was just like, I'd much rather kill it with a bow.
Yeah. Is that right there on the farm?
No,
you got places to go?
Yeah, I go to like a hunting lease and stuff like that.
Okay. Have you tried any of the hunt workouts yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bro, they're fun. They're really fun. Just for a day, like when you got an open training day, they're just like longer and grindy.
Yeah.
But super fun. Well, you gotta muscle your way into one of these. Obviously, Rich is going on like dream elk hunts every year, so you gotta muscle your way in.
That'd be fun.
Cool. All right, bro. Back to training.
Yeah.
Let's go.